this pin registers into that hole. That puts it in the accurate location to hold it there. So when you take this off, you have to twist that pin, reverse it. You have to back these off. And these will tilt in, and that's what lets it clamp under it to hold it down. So we're going to take those off. Let's back them up a little bit. When we go to the other side, there's one over there. You loosen that one up. Forward. Okay. So now that we can tilt forward, so we'll have to get one person over there. We'll go over there.
The one that you.
So I have to. You want to grab it by the frame here. So I got to lift this side up. I've got to slide it towards me, and then we can kind of come up out of here with it. So. Up with it, and then we kind of slide it over there. That's how you pull that out. And
اونجا روی pallet.
it goes back in just the reverse of what you did. Okay, so now we're pretty much stripped clean. So at this point now we can kind of wipe down the rollers. So
Okay. What do we use to wipe the?
Basically water or alcohol is
No
the best
acetone.
thing. No acetone, because it can, I mean, you can use acetone to kind of clean a spot, but you don't really want to start, because this is the sleeve that's on there.
Oh, it's
So
a
it's
kind of
rubber,
plastic rubber.
and so it
Oh
can-
yeah,
it
it's
can
gonna
mess
eat it away.
Now, like I say, you can do a cleaning with it, but you don't really want to soak it.
Then we do have alcohol.
Yeah. But like what I like is I'll take a rag, get it wet, pour some alcohol. That way it mixes with water. That way it'll pull stuff. Plus it'll pull all the dust and paper, fiber, and stuff like that. So what I want to do now, because we haven't really done it, is I want to show you how to turn the machine on in the morning, and then we can start getting into how the controls once you learn how to turn it on. So I'm going to shut it off right now. So anytime turn the machine on and off, you always want the glue pot off. You don't want it to cycle on when the machine comes on. So this is just your on and off button here. So it'll go off. Then you basically have the power switch is right here for it. So you can just turn it off. It's down. And then I don't like to leave the air on this machine overnight, just because depends if you have the glue tank, stuff like that. If you have something break in the middle of the night, it's got air on, you have a hose break, that thing could just spray glue everywhere in this building. So make sure you unhook the tanks. And I don't like leaving pressure on the compression unit, because that'll bleed the air off of it, and they'll let it relax overnight too. So in the morning when you come in, raw machine, turn the air on. Then we're going to turn the power on back at the main power. Okay, now this screen's going to come up. It's going to show like it's loading the programs and all that. Then it's going to go to the screen. When it does, it's going to give you that little logo right there. That's telling you that basically you can tell the system to come alive. So you hit that, it's going to give you an hourglass. Once that hourglass goes away, then it's on. Now you're on. Once you get the conveyor, you're on. Now you can start doing functions in here. Now, at this point in time, that's when I go turn the hot tank on. That way it can start warming up and start doing the stuff it needs to. That power right there. This is going to come up. So right now it's telling you it's in economy mode. So this is basically going to warm the system up. It's not going to take it to operating temperature. This little light right here by this little hourglass right here, that's your economy mode. When you turn that off, then this thing's going to come up to full temp that you have it set for. If you're, say you go to lunch you want to put this in economy mode because if the temperature's running right now because of the issues with the heads, you're running that glue way high, and you don't want it there. So I typically go to lunch, put it in economy mode. When I come back from lunch, turn it on. In about 10 minutes, it'll be back and it'll let you start running. So that's how we turn it on in the morning. So now at this point, I'll show you guys how to jog the machine and speed and all that. Clean the rollers and stuff. You can put it in a slow speed where you can actually clean them. Makes it easier. So this is your main screen. You have, this is data and it's just telling you functions and stuff that are going on. This is your counters and everything here, so you can reset, you can make it count up, you can make it count down, you can do your batch counting and stuff in here. This is actually your operation screen where you run stuff from, so this is where you're gonna set your speed. This is your telling you your length and program for the size component you have, or size box you have in here. This is basically your channels for if you have the glue that's through the system. This is your channels for the glue.
Yeah, we just have 4 of them, not 6.
Well, you have 4, but you also have the channels of your air blast, your flippers, and all that stuff. That stuff works over here. So the difference is if you go into, we'll turn those off. If we go into a glue head, where that plug is, so you have all these different functions you can do, starts and stops, kind of like you can on the die cutter. The same theory here. So that's on 1 through 4. So your 1 through 4 channels are like this. Okay. Go back here. These are what we call 5 through 6. So this is your air channels. So they basically just have an on and off, on and a distance and off. So you can't do, like if you were doing like stitching or need something to lift up and flip up and down several times because you're catching glue tabs, you need to plug that into one of the glue channels so you have that function. So, and we'll get into that. But for now, we don't have anything going on there.
Just a quick question before we go further. Over here, you were mentioning these ones are for the flippers, up and down, the air ones. These are for glue. Then at the next channel, where was that?
Here.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure it's underneath. Then.
Yep.
Okay.
And you, because you're seeing it just has basically a start and a start and a distance is all you have. And you go back here, you can scroll through them, so you have multiples. So if you were doing a tape head where you needed a spot tape across there, you'd run off of this channel. If you were doing air where you needed to do the flipper, it needs to pop up and needs to come back down, then it needs to pop back up, so you got multiple tabs, you would run a flipper here. So that's the trickiness comes into play there. And then these are customs, which is capacity folds, rotisseries, which I don't believe you have, the tapes, which I don't believe you have, friction feeder, which is what you have, and then the bottom folding pocket, which we don't have. So these are just like components that were added to it that this system doesn't have. And then if you get an error, this is your error screen. It's going to tell you what the error is, and then that's your reset button to clear that error. Then you can go back to your run screen. So at this point, we don't have anything on it. We're all clear. So now you can hit run. So the roller's going to come up. Everything's going to start doing its thing.
45 meter.
45 meters. So we're going to slow it down to the point where we can actually clean the rollers. So you can either punch it in. So we'll just go to 30. And then it slows down to that. Now you can slow it down one at a time and really get it. 25 is as slow as it'll go. So these rollers, they're pretty smooth, just rag bundle on top, and you can kind of wipe them down. Now you can also jog this machine. When these come up, that's your forward jog. That's your reverse jog.
Oh.
So you can jog it, which is one of the options that this machine has that most do not.
Yep.
Most do not have a reverse function. So what's our error?
I was gonna ask you, when we jog it, should we reset anything?
You shouldn't have to, but it could have. That jog could have triggered that.
That's a forward.
This is for jog? Or...
These two are for jogging.
No. This control jog.
No, this is
lower.
this is a percentage of speed rate that the feeder does compared to the rest of the machine. So the feeder also has an option to where it will run at 100% when it sends something out, but it'll also run at a reduced rate to kind of match the machine. And you have to change that sometimes depending on the material you're running, because it don't like to separate at the feeder. So you really just got to boom, just kind of yank it, and it comes out and hits, and then so you will play with that as well. But generally, most of the time you can run it in its normal mode, but you can actually go to another way to do it. But that's kind of, as you learn, kind of like the pile height over there. I want to do a lot of clicks or just big move or a short move, depends on the paper. So that's where we're at there. So we can, it depends on how you want to do it. You can have somebody run the jog buttons as you guys clean the rollers, or you can just put it in a slow roll and just kind of clean it. I know you guys are used to web presses, so you're probably used to cleaning off a roller.
Yep.
But if that's the case, we can just wipe it down, get all the dust off of it. Just something like, well, like I say, water and alcohol, probably the best thing at this point to get all the paper. Then we can see where they've got glue buildup. We can clean it.
Sorry, one moment. That one doesn't have the option.
And then this is all your errors that it's had. Just keeps a rolling list of them. And each one of those screens will typically have a secondary screen. This one does not. This one does. So this is basically
دست سوکه از سوک بگیر به کیبوردش وصل کن.
So this is like your set screen. This is your operation delivery. That's your feeder. So this is all the feeder things you can adjust, speeds, percentages, and all that. Dimension of the product, all that stuff. That's that one. This is this one. And then you go into this one. Then this one gets you into your sensors and motors. So that's going to tell you the frequencies and stuff your motors are running. Typically don't mess with that. Here, then this is your sensors here. Then you can go into this one. And this lets you turn on and off the sensors that are watching the material on the table. So if you get a sheet that's giving you crazy doubles and stuff like that, and you know it's not, then you can bypass that. You can bypass the sensors. And then this is switching your
Language,
English,
millimeter,
all that
inches.
stuff. Yeah. Which I like to leave it in metric just because it's
Definitely. Okay, perfect. Now we are just gonna start cleaning.